And welcome to the live show tonight, guys. I am the only one here, and well, I'm not the only one here. I'm one of two people here, but I'm the only one who is physically able to sit and do a live stream tonight. Slick's not feeling well. He's actually been sick for the last week while he's been working on getting the forum up and running. So the forum is working on a local machine right now. He's played around with, we're using vBulletin Connect 5. So, you know, it's beta right now. There's not a lot of support for it. There's some tricky stuff. And so he's still getting some bugs figured out. We still got to figure out how to actually get it launched, whether we're paying for hosting or whether we're going to see if we can host it somewhere else for now. So we've got all of that to figure out. And then we're pretty much ready to go. One thing I can promise is it will be up before CES, because the forum is our brilliant plan to have all of the content that we're producing, all of the videos that we're making while we're at the show, be sort of accompanied by little articles and maybe some pictures to go along with it and all that kind of stuff. I mean, we're going to have a whole team there. It'll be me, Slick, Diesel, and an assistant to sort of like carry bags and stuff. Actually, you know what? Here, why don't we start with this? I'm going to check this out, guys, or I'll be back in one moment. And Slick can't entertain you while I'm gone, unfortunately. Check this out. So I did an unboxing of my Pelican case that I purchased for myself for the FS700. Also, the lights are a little bright. Hold on, let me just play with these a little bit. Dim these babies. All right. What's the point of getting baller lights if you can't, you know, turn them down? There we go. Let's see if that helps. Whoa! Yeah, that was not quite... Okay, see, the skin tones are better, but that was not quite the desired effect there. Let's try cranking these back up. I did turn off a couple of the other lights. Okay. You know what? Wait, whatever. Okay, good enough. Pelican case. So if you guys saw my unboxing, I got this for the FS700 camera, which is not the one that I'm using for... A lot of people complain about the image quality of the $8,000 camera, but what they don't realize is we don't use the $8,000 camera for everything. In fact, the $8,000 camera is intended only for certain projects. So check this out, guys. Pelican cases are friggin' awesome. All these little foamy pieces here actually can come out in little rectangular prisms, to use the correct word, or little squares if I was going to be more colloquial. Come out and they're about this long. There's 2 full layers, and with it you can pack all your sweet gear. So I got my Rode mic, which I've been informed is not pronounced Rode because it's like a Danish word or something, but whatever. So I got my Rode mic, got my FS700, got a spot for my lens, got spots for maybe a couple more lenses over here. So this is what is going to keep the camera safe, and I'm super, super thrilled with it. Seems like the kind of thing that nothing can go wrong if you throw your camera in a Pelican. It's even waterproof for like 30 minutes or something along those lines. So that's pretty cool. Right, so we're going to have a whole crew there. So I'm hoping to really sort of change the way that Linus Tech Tips presents video. So not just uploading to YouTube, but I also want there to be a little bit of accompanying text, just sort of maybe some editorial that's not necessarily in the video itself, maybe some you know, pictures of close-ups or things that we perhaps missed while we were filming the video. That's the kind of thing that's really easy for us to be like, oh crap, you know, take a couple pictures, make sure that goes up with the article. So I'd love to get your feedback. Do you guys want to see a few different things? Do you want to see like I mean, okay, when I read a review, basically I read introduction, conclusion, and then I see if it won any kind of award. So that's the concept. Do you guys want to see that? Just a little text blurb, then a video, little text blurb, and then like, you know, maybe some kind of a rating in terms of value, performance, or whatever other metrics that you want to see. So let's do some Twitter, because I don't have a ton of topics prepared, and I especially don't have anyone to sit and entertain the audience while I'm sort of going and doing other things. So let's have some interaction. Slick is sick, Zoomass, and I'm very sorry for that. For those of you who have been telling me to kick him off the show, then you'll be pleased that he's not here tonight. But that's very few of you. I think for the most part, you guys enjoy Slick's contributions. All right. Having exam in less than an hour. Oh, I'm sorry you can't make it, Edwin, but good luck. Woke up to watch from Iceland. Awesome. Gotta love Pelican. Yes. Been waiting 6 hours. See, I often see this. People are sitting in Twitch, like waiting for the live stream to start, like hours and hours before it starts. Guys, it's at 9 p.m. my time every week, although I will be changing the time soon. I've had a lot of people ask me about the times for the live show. Am I planning to change it? Yes, I'm planning to change it. Sometime in the new year, it will change. Good question. Andrew R. asks, is there a difference between an 8-pin EPS connector and an 8-pin PCI Express connector? Are they interchangeable? I would love to address this by grabbing myself. Not by grabbing myself, by grabbing a connector to show you guys exactly what the difference is between them. So let me just see if I can get this test bench detachable-lated here. Yeah, there's a PCIe. Yeah, good. There's an EPS. So EPS 8-pin is often also referred to as just CPU 8-pin or even ATX 8-pin, which isn't technically correct, but I mean, you can't stop people from using terminology that they're more familiar with. When it was first introduced in the P4 era, it was called the P4 connector as well. So that's another really common terminology for it. So I'm going to show you guys exactly what the difference is between these connectors. I hope the autofocus is okay on this camera. So this guy right here, that is an 8-pin CPU. So an 8-pin is just an evolution of a 4-pin. And the 4-pin, there we go, is two 12-volt wires, which are color-coded. Oh, see, hold on, I'm going to move that. Two 12-volt wires, which are color-coded yellow, or on some power supplies, they've removed the color coding just in favor of aesthetics. And then two ground wires. So those go out to your power supply. Those provide power just to your CPU. That's all they do. They do not go anywhere else. They do not share, because this standard was introduced when Intel was really pushing the envelope in terms of how much heat output a CPU was. Sorry, I'm having a really hard time putting this back. Yeah, how much heat output CPUs were producing, as well as how much power they were consuming. So all of a sudden we needed this dedicated connector near the CPU socket itself that ran power just to the CPU. PCI Express is a different standard. So you can see the 6-pin PCIe, which was the first connector we had for PCI Express cards, is 3 12 volts and 3 grounds. Okay, the 8-pin standard doesn't actually add another circuit loop to it. It only adds 2 more ground connectors. So we are actually still relying, let's see if I can get it to focus. See, 2 more ground connectors. We are actually still relying on those 3 yellow ones there to provide one side, and then we've got 5 grounds to carry. Like, I don't actually quite understand how 2 more ground pins changes how much power, how much current it can carry, but apparently somehow it does. So anyway, the point is, no, they're not the same, because this has 4 12 volts and 4 grounds, and this has 3 12 volts and 5 grounds. They're also keyed differently. So what I mean when I say keying is the shape of the, here, hold on, I'm going to see if I can get you guys a good look at this. This is really important when you're putting together your computer, because if you do this wrong, it'll cause big problems for you. There we go. So the actual shape of the plastic housings around the pins are different. And you can also see that the 8-pin, oh, I'm probably talking really loud. You can see that the 8-pin here has a bridge between these two. That actually prevents it from being inserted into an 8-pin on the motherboard. So there you go. That is the difference. Good question between EPS 8-pin and PCI Express 8-pin. I'm going to jump up to the top just to make sure that there aren't any audio issues or anything that I'm not aware of. Okay, I heard that the Noctua NFF12s are only good for push and not for pull. No, that's not true at all. A fan with good static pressure has good static pressure. That's it. That means that it's good at scooping air from the one side of it, and it's good at pushing air to the other side of it. What that person might have been thinking of is that the F12s are optimized for directed airflow, much like Silverstone Air Penetrator 121s. So if you're using them as a case fan, say for example in the front of your case, and you want to be cooling that video card that's like way over there, an F12 will be very effective for pushing air towards that video card, because it creates like a funnel of air that moves in one direction without just being randomly dispersed. So they're excellent for pushing air, but that doesn't change the fact that they're just a well-optimized high-pressure fan, and they're great for push or pull if you're using them on a heatsink or on a radiator. Will you be doing more audio-related unboxings, something like HD800s or some speakers? I've done the HD800s, believe it or not. Honestly, the sort of price to performance that comes along with those super premium audio products, I think it's wasted on me a little bit. I mean, I was listening to Flax, and we had HD 555s, HD 595s, HD 800s, as well as some gaming headsets. And Slick and I were using the Asus Essence 1, which is not a super high-end DAC or amp by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, those will go into tens of thousands of dollars, guys. So yes, it's like a $500 audio product, but it's not really qualified to drive something like HD 800s. And I found that once you get like HD 555 to HD 595 is noticeable. But that was only about $100 price delta back when those were current products, where something like an HD 800 costs several times what an HD 595 was. However, from a 555 to a 595 felt like about the same kind of a jump as from a 595 to an 800. Hard to say whether that's just us or whether that's correct, because we didn't really have the kind of amp we'd need to drive it. And neither of us really have like golden ears. But I mean, I appreciate good audio, but something like an 800 is pretty overkill for me. I also found them a little bit almost too big on my head. So that's just a minor complaint, I guess. But if I was paying, you know, that much for headphones, couple grand for headphones, I'd want them to feel like awesome, comfortable. What camera am I using for the live stream? Please tweet back because I've got to go now. Tester. All right, fine. Why not? XA10. Oh, right, that won't work. Oh, you know what? Sorry, man. That's not going to work because I have my number signs bound to my different camera stuff. So yeah, that won't work. All right, opinions on OCC's ET power supplies. Have you had much experience with them? Yeah, I've used one on a test bench for a while. Nothing bad to say. I mean, they're an 80 plus bronze, fully modular power supply. They're a good deal. I'm here, says Aaron. Hello, Aaron. Linus, have you heard about the AMD 7870 XT? No. What are your thoughts on the Digital Storm Bolt, especially compared to the Falcon Northwest TK? Neither of them seems particularly relevant because these days I really can't think of a good reason to buy a boutique machine. What are you... I guess here's the question you said. We have to do like a PC buyer's guide at some point, I think. You know, just like an ultimate Bible on buying a PC and sort of teach people how to do the analysis of what they're paying for. With someone like a boutique builder, like a Falcon Northwest, okay, if you're going to pay them to paint your case and you really like the design and you're going to do that stuff, okay, you want to drop a couple G's on a case, you know what? Fine, that's fine. Yeah, my TJ07 at this point, and those of you who are going to tell me to change it, I'm not changing it, was a present from my wife, and it's my favorite case ever. I don't want a different case. Here, right there, for those of you telling me, get a TJ11, that is a TJ11. I don't care. I'm not using it. I'm using the TJ07. So anyway, yeah, if you really like their case and you really, really want them to paint it, you love their design, then that's cool. That's fine. But if you're just getting them to do like a normal computer, why? What do they do that... And I mean, yeah, I work at NCIX and that's all fine. So obviously I'm a little biased. But what do they do that someone like NCIX doesn't for 50 bucks? And why are they charging you an extra $500 to $800 for it? I mean, even someone like Main Gear, who I'd hardly consider to be boutique, like they're a system integrator and they build like great gaming systems and all that stuff. But I mean, they're not, you know, running with guys like, you know, formerly Voodoo or Falcon. Like, let's just be honest with ourselves. Even Main Gear, I think back when we launched one of our PC systems, I compared the price for the exact same spec. Just for lulz, and I think it was about a $600, $700 difference. I'm like, where is this money going? I don't understand. Building a computer is not rocket science. I've even had people, I mean, this Same thing. I've had people ask me, Linus, will you build my computer for me? And I told the guy something ridiculous, like $500 or $300 or something for me to build it. And he's like, okay. I'm like, what? Why? I've done guides. I've shown you guys how to build your own computers. I mean, here, just for the sake of making sure that I'm not, completely, missing the point of all this, I'll look up these computers, but I suspect they're just sort of like kind of neatsy keen, small form factor machines or something like that. Falcon uses often custom Silverstone cases, so it's probably like a customized TJO or SGO3 or whatever it's called. I don't remember. Something 03, FT03 or something like that. This is just my guess. Oh no, what is this thing? 4 inches wide, something, the world's most powerful micro tower. Yeah, it's one of the best boutique computers on the market today. Here, you guys can see what I'm seeing here if you want. We are researching before we go on a tirade about boutique builders and how it's pointless. So what can you put in here? GTX, what? GeForce GTX 6 series graphics card? Okay, what GeForce GTX 6 series graphics card? Build your TK, doesn't say. My guess would be they could probably cram a 670 in there. I mean, I guess I still just don't see the point. Build yourself an FT03 Mini. And paint it. I can't even find out. Oh, here we go. Configure a TK. Let's shop together, shall we? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Configure a Falcon. Sure. I met the owner of Falcon last year, actually. Super nice guy, in case anyone cares. There we go. World's most powerful micro tower. Configure a TK. So at least these guys have a custom chassis going for them, which a lot of those builder guys don't. What do they want for this thing? $1,700, and we've got, what do we have so far? We have a chassis, we have a chassis logo insert, we have a chassis base, we have a 450 watt SFX power supply, so that's that Silverstone power supply. So you want to price this out, go ahead, price it out. Silverstone power supply, P8Z77i, oh, bleh. Okay, well we need a 3570K at the very least. How do I change it? Yeah, add component, there we go, $56. Wow, their builder has gotten a lot more advanced since the last time I looked at it. Okay, they got a liquid cooler in there. They got some 2x4 gig. Ugh. How much do they want? Seriously? They want $78. Okay, this is where, see, this is where you run into trouble. NZXT.com. Okay, let's find out what a 2x8 gig memory kit actually costs. So what is this, 1866 memory? Not that it matters. It really doesn't make that much difference to performance. But just for lols. Oh no, I can't type in numbers. Oh wait, I can use this one. 1866. And that was a 16. Wrong scene. There we go. Sorry guys. It's really inconvenient having my number keys bound this way. So a 16 gig 1866 kit costs what? I don't know, 97 bucks, 95 bucks, 120 bucks. So, well, okay, that's not so bad. That's not as bad as I thought. Who knows? I might be a, oh, GTX 650. I might be a believer by the end of this. $300 additional for a 670. Okay, that doesn't look that good. And of course I hate doing this. 670. Yeah, okay, so you can get a 670 for like $289.99. So there's a bit of margin there. Sound card's probably on board. Yeah, networking's on board. So I guess, guys, it comes down to personal choice. Would I pay more for something like a TK? Probably not. I mean, there's shuttles out there. There's FT03 Mini out there. There's a lot of different solutions out there. Something like a BitPhoenix Prodigy isn't as small, but has a lot of cool factor going for it as well. But I'm not the intended audience. So if you have an appreciation for, guys, make no mistake, the amount of work and the amount of money that it takes to produce a custom chassis as a system builder, if you have an appreciation for that and it's like not easy, then go for it. You know, you want something that's a prestige piece, then go for it. Otherwise, personally, I'd build my own machine. As for the Digital Storm Bolt, I don't know. It depends how bored you guys are of this topic, but I could probably at least find out what it is. Digital... hate this keyboard. Well, I don't hate this keyboard. It's just not ideal. Digital Storm Bolt. Enter. Yeah, I meant Digital Storm Bolt. Got my typo going on here. Okay, so that is, what the heck is this thing? Okay, that's kind of neat machine as well. I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say. What kind of video card do they have in here? As long as they've got options to put decent video cards in. I mean, that's something else to consider, guys, too, is if you configure your own... Oh, they've got a 650 Ti in there, so yeah, it's not bad. What kind of upgrade options do they have? Where are the upgrade options? I don't know. Okay, not going to worry about this too much anymore because I'm bored. Yeah, if you like it, buy it, I guess. Moving right along. Oh, I think I've got my camera pointed a little high here. Yeah, I'm impressed, actually. Both of those machines look really cool. Do you wish Canada and the US had better travel relations on border checks like the EU? No? I don't know. Doesn't seem like that big of a deal to show a passport. Yeah. Is this moving? I think it's moving. No wonder I'm having trouble. Alright, is it true that the most expensive graphics card is not the best graphics card? Good question. It is true that the most expensive graphics solution is not necessarily the best graphics solution. GTX 690 Quad SLI is the most expensive graphics card solution before you start getting into sort of Quad 680s. However, I would say that defining something as best is not as simple as does it perform the best, because it will perform the best in many scenarios, but there will be ones where its performance consistency is not very good because Quad SLI doesn't scale the same way that a single card or dual SLI or even triple SLI does. So if I were to look at it from a perspective of, okay, am I getting the best gaming solution? Gaming solution by getting quad 680s or dual 690s. I would go, well, hard to say because it's going to get hot. It's going to potentially get loud, especially if you have fans sandwiched up against each other. It's not necessarily going to scale in every game or every scenario, and you might even run into weird bugs where you got to turn your SLI off in order to even get your machine to run a particular game, especially weird obscure stuff that doesn't really get the same kind of QA put into it as other things. So I would say instead of buying 4 680s, which will give you the highest FPS, I would do something like buy 2 680s and then like a wicked sound card and an awesome, like, I don't know, something else, RAID card, and throw some SSDs on it. I mean, there's lots of better things you can spend your budget on than 3 or 4 graphics cards. So there you have it. My take on that question. Does the speed of the pump affect the performance of a water cooling loop? Yes, but not as much as most people seem to think. It does affect the flow rate, having the pump spin faster and the water moves faster. But once you're past a certain point, the returns that you get for speeding up the water diminish very, very, very sharply. I mean, in a custom loop running dual graphics cards and a CPU, 2 radiators, using a D5, so with it cranked to 5, I'm within 1 degree of turning it all the way down to 1. And I would say for the noise difference, I'll take that. I'll throw away that 1 degree, no problem. Linus, I'm the guy who wanted the autograph with the Razer Kraken Pros. Hi, Liam. That is a great profile picture you've got yourself there. My friend bought an Alienware laptop for about 2,000. It was 3,000. It's 16 gigs fast. We shouldn't laugh at them. We should help them. Any comments on the 840 Pro SSD? No unboxing right now. I'm hoping to get my hands on one soon. Benchmarks-wise, there's lots of benchmarks out there. It's basically the ruler of the roost. It's right up there with the OCZ Vector. Those two would be kind of the kings of the castle right now. So that's pretty much my take on it. Best non-common Cherry MX switch? I don't know. That's a very strange question, Bob. I don't understand why you'd ask that question. I actually haven't used clears. I haven't used anything other than blue, brown, red, black. So sorry, I guess I can't really answer that one. Talk about the Sandia cooler. Sandia cooler. So this is something that people are pretty excited about right about now. So I'm going to go ahead and show those of you who aren't familiar with it. Sandia cooler. There we go. Here we go. This is what this is all about. So it's a cooler that instead of spinning a fan on top of a heatsink, takes a heatsink and spins it around like a fan. So promises 30 times better CPU cooling, blah, blah, blah. They're making a lot of claims about it. Apparently, the way that the top heatsink spins is by having a micro thin layer, like a cushion of air, between this bottom layer here that interfaces directly with the CPU, and then the spinning part on top that still allows optimal heat transfer as if it wasn't even there. And then because of the way the blades are optimized, they throw air out. I believe it spins this way. So it chucks air out of the heatsink, making it very, very, very efficient or something. I've had a lot of people ask me about what I think about it. There you go, Sandia cooler. Hold on, let me turn that volume down. Oh yeah, this should be okay. Oh, it's a long video. Boo, long video. Boo, where is it running? Show us up close. Okay, whatever. Forget that video. So people have asked me about it a lot. I know that there's one PC heatsink guy that's licensed it already, so we're gonna see a product based on this. But I guess, yeah, here we go. It spins at just 2,000 RPM. Only 2,000 RPM, you say? Why, that'll be intolerably loud. 2,000 RPM isn't quiet. I mean, it's possible that because of the way the air is moving, there's going to be less of a whoosh to it. But I don't think I've heard a 2,000 RPM motor that doesn't have a significant whine to it. So yeah, if they can, and I mean that, and then we're talking a different kind of motor when you're spinning around a piece of metal. So it'll have to actually have some torque to it versus if you're turning plastic. So I'm expecting there to be a mechanical, like a whine to it. So yeah, it can cool better all at once. It's not going to cool better than water. I can tell you that now. And I'm already looking at it going, what do you mean 30 times better than air? How do you define 30 times better? I mean, we've already got air cooling heat sinks that'll remove 130 watts of heat from a are you going to, you're telling me we're going to remove 4,000 watts of heat from a CPU socket? So yeah, I will believe it when I see it. That is my approach to the Sandia cooler. Great, looks good, good in theory, but let's see how the actual products do, because we've seen this time and time again. Remember Lucid Logic's Hydra, how we were going to SLI GeForce cards with Radeon cards, and we were going to throw 5 cards in one system, and they were all going to work together, and it was going to be like magic, holy crap. Yeah, that didn't work. 3D Mark was, I think, the only application that it ever properly worked in, so see how it goes. First time watching live, I'm glad to hear that you are tuned in. I can see that the Linus Tech Tips community will be awesome just by being in the Twitch chat. That is actually one of the reasons we fast-tracked having a forum at all, because the Twitch chat is so active and there's such good conversation going on in there. Normal unboxings should be normal. I don't know. I don't remember what you're commenting about, Ryan. I'm sorry. Happy to moderate the stream chat. Been here for 5 hours chatting with cool peeps. Absolutely. Stream countdown on the forum. Yep. Yeah, that's not a bad idea at all. I noticed you guys are doing awesome on the whole liking videos and encouraging other people to like videos. Keep it up. I think it makes a difference. I think it'll take a bit of a longer term sort of, I think it'll take a bit of a longer term approach to find out how well it's working. I noticed that there's still a lot of videos that some of you are selectively liking or not liking. I noticed the one with the cat and the baby did like way better than one of the other ones that I did. That was actually a lot more work. The heatsink roundup using my new test bench here. So yeah, I mean, keep it up. Do your best with it, guys. I think it helps. So there you go. For some reason, it's black for me, the live stream. Flash player? I don't know. How do I cheer up my friend who got a new graphics card but found out he has a 280 watt power supply? I don't know, it is Christmas. You could get him a new power supply that doesn't suck. Alright, totally stopped scripting to watch. Excellent. And I can't figure out how to move this around. Alright, let's do some more Q&A. See what, oh my goodness, 254 new interactions. Good morning from Denmark indeed. What do you think of the Cooler Master Quickfire TK keyboard with the arrow keys and number pad integrated? I actually did an unboxing of this one last week, 2 weeks ago. Really like it. Very cool layout. For those of you who haven't seen it, I'll go grab it because it's right here. Here we go. Oh, this was sitting with it. These are the Twinkies that Slick and I ate last week as part of our live stream because I had a viewer send those in. So we got a key remover, got some covering on it. This is a really unique keyboard because the first time I showed it to Slick, he wasn't familiar with the product already. And he was like, oh yeah, it's a 10 keyless. It is not a 10 keyless. See, it actually has a full number pad and then you just switch modes. So there's number keys here, you got like your delete key, your insert, your page up, your page down, and all that stuff here. So you actually switch between number pad and then extension of normal keyboards. So it ends up being a super compact, super awesome, super brightly backlit mechanical keyboard. This is the TK Blue, so this has a blue backlight and blue switches, but it's available with brown or red switches as well, in white or red backlights. I think it's awesome. I think it's outstanding. I don't know if I would use it myself because I'm not space constrained, but it's especially useful for people who don't have a lot of room at their computer and they want to still have a number pad because, I don't know about you guys, but I use a number pad every day. Every single day. I cannot live without a number pad on my keyboard unless I had like a little standalone keyboard. And where was I going with that? Number pads are good. Right. But because I'm not space constrained, then I'll just as soon have a normal keyboard with a number pad. So I think I'll stick with my Zyble 60, but if you want to save some room on your desk, the TK is a perfect option in my opinion because you still get your number pad, which matters to me, as you guys may or may not have noticed. Watching from Norway, yes! Hey Linus, my friend's PC is turning on, but not powering the monitor and half of the fans don't work. It's a fresh build, what do? Could be video card, could be memory. Basically what you've got there is a no post situation. So if you search on YouTube for no post diagnosis, I have a video all about it. First time watching in the UK, but my dad woke me up by snoring, trying to type quietly on Cherry MX Blues. Good luck with that, sir. Is Corsair Link worth it? I was talking to the Russian about it, and they were doing some work with Corsair Link. I actually have a Corsair Link around here somewhere. I haven't tried the actual Link module. The Corsair Link software, just the software component that you use with something like an H80i or an H100i, is pretty neat. It's fairly robust. I mean, bear in mind, guys, this is something that's been in production software? Whatever. They've been working on it for over 2 years. Back when Coolit was still doing their own thing, they were working on, I think they were calling it something else, but they showed this off at CES 2 years ago in their booth. And then when Corsair went exclusive with the Coolit coolers and blah, 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 they had some arrangement. So now Corsair, I think, inherited a lot of that work that Coolit had already done. So this has been, in development, that's what I was thinking of, has been in development for years. So it's very mature compared to, well, a lot of the other solutions out there. Even something like an M-Cubed T-Balancer. There's a lot more that goes into things that seem simple, like fan control, than you would imagine. Because there's all these different, it's like even something like PWM. There's all these different implementations of PWM, which is basically, instead of undervolting the fan, running it at 12 volts, but doing it in bursts so that it doesn't spin as fast. Okay, so PWM seems simple, right? No. So that can cause all kinds of issues. It can cause winding in the fans. It can cause fans to die. It can cause it to just generally not work. It can cause all kinds of issues. So there's a lot that goes into it, and Link is pretty mature, but does have trouble with third-party fans sometimes, and I don't remember necessarily where I was going with that. Is it worth it? I don't know. If you have an H100i, then install it. If you don't have an H100i, then it's probably not going to do a whole lot for you. I came in late, where's Slick? Slick be sick, yo. I currently have an X79 ASRock Extreme 9. Should I get a 3820 now and wait for a new generation or get the 3930K? The only reason you're going to benefit from a 3930K is if you're doing serious 3D work, not 3D games, 3D work, or if you're doing serious like video editing, even photo editing, I mean, come on. Even like serious video editing or After Effects work. Other than that, quad-core is fine. Trust me. Just joined after getting home from work yet. The forum will be done within probably about a week and a half. It'll be up. I don't know if it'll be up in its final form, but it'll be up. Nope, no plans for 680 amp edition unboxing. Are there any mini ATX motherboards that have Thunderbolt ports yet? I believe Gigabyte has one, but it's not available in North America. What would you notice more? What would I notice more, an SSD or a new sound card? Ooh, that's tough. I'd go SSD. Have you heard about photonic computing and excited about the possibility of clock speeds near the speed of light? Yeah, we're a long way away from there though. I'll get excited when I can actually buy one. Should I get an i5 or an i7 for Autodesk? Yeah. You know what? I don't have enough experience with CAD professional applications to really make a judgment there. If the GPU is doing a lot of the work, then go for the i5. If CPU still benefits and if it's heavily threaded, then go for an i7. Yeah, it's really not that much more expensive for the i7, especially if you're building a workstation that's already going to have a high-end Quadro in it or whatever else. So, got to be your judgment call for that one. Jordan asks if I bought anything from the Steam sale. No, I have not. Although I do have a copy of Far Cry 3 with my name on it that I'm pretty excited to play. Next personal rig update. Actually, I can give you guys an update now because it shipped today. So hopefully I'll get it back from Mountain Mods sometime early in the new year and I'll get that built up. I'm super, super excited to get it put back together. Oh, apparently the motor on the Sandia cooler turns off after it starts. Well, I'm very, very interested to see how that works. Again, I will believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when they've had one running for, 3 years in a machine, at whatever weird angle. And I mean, I guess one thing I kind of worry about is when you have like a stray wire that comes loose from a bundle and gets stuck in a fan, it kind of goes and then the fan might stop and then your CPU will I mean, what if this thing hits it? Spinning around at 2,000 RPM, made of even a light metal like aluminum. I mean, what's that going to do to like a wire? I don't know. I'm not saying progress is bad. I'm just skeptical until I'm proven otherwise. NFF12 or Silverstone air penetrator. Either is a good choice, but make sure you're getting the AP121s. There are air penetrators that are not as optimized for heatsink use. What do you think about the SP2500s? They're awesome. I'm using SP2500s myself. Love them. 2 thumbs up. Noise Nazi. Well, yes. Who does the awesome NCI Excel drawings? Tom. Tom does the awesome NCI Excel drawings. He was actually featured on one of the early episodes of NetLinked Weekly, and he talks about it a fair bit. 23 minutes late. You were 23 minutes late. Yay, UK. Does NCI sell most PCs online or in store for people that can't buy online? Well, they sell lots of PCs online and in store. Watching your live stream from the Philippines. Yay! Hi, Philippines. Am I going to do an unboxing of the NZXT Kraken? Yes! It's already in the mail. So as soon as that arrives, I will not only unbox it, but I will also be putting it in the standardized heatsink testing rig with Noctua NF A14 fans because it is a 140mm radiator. However, I got to spend some time with the A14s and the F12s kind of, fine-tuning the old ear and deciding what RPM I can run these at that they'll be the same sound level as the F12s because that, my friends, is the point for me. At a consistent sound level with optimized fans, in this case those are very radiator and heatsink optimized, what is the best cooler? Because that way, instead of measuring the efficiency of whatever fan happens to come on whatever heatsink, and they're all running at different RPMs with different pressures, etc., 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 different noise levels, we will know which heatsink is the best heatsink with a proper fan at a noise level that everyone will find palatable. And I know some of you don't care, and that's fine, I accept that, but I just don't think computers need to be loud. In fact, I had one person seem to get really upset on the video where I was saying there's no need to have a loud computer because he was, those fans are $20 each. Like, they're not cheap. You can get cheaper quiet fans. Okay, you don't have to buy $20 fans, but those are awesome. Because he was like, well, I can't afford to have a quiet computer. What do you mean you can't afford to have a quiet computer? Here. Where are they? Like whatever component you bought, I guarantee you, there's one that costs the same that's quiet. So there's that. You know, whatever case you bought that has wind turbine fans in it, you could have bought something quiet. And these cost like pennies. These are low noise adapters. It's just an inline resistor. Heck, if you want to be, you know, creative, you can just go buy resistors. Here's the color coding. Go buy them at the local Radio Shack or equivalent. There you go. Gold, black, blue, green. And install them in line with your fans. Boom. Quiet PC for like less than $5. So there you go. It's not about spending a bunch of money on having a quiet computer. It's about there's no reason to have a loud computer. I play from a couch at 2.5 meters from my monitor. Do you have a great keyboard mouse suggestion? Not really. Although there's something really cool that I have coming. It's like a couch gaming thing. I'm gonna see if I can find this couch gaming table thing. Crap, there's one being sent. Couch stand, how do you guys, blah, 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 shiny hacks, gaming on your couch or sofa. Ah, man. Shoot, I don't remember what it's called, but it's from a smaller company in the UK, and it's like just friggin' awesome. It's like a beanbaggy thing that sits on your lap. Honestly, if I was gaming from the couch, I'd still prefer wired if I can get away with it. So I'd just go with something like a USB extension. You know? What fan controller would you recommend? I use a T-balancer. Other than that, I don't really recommend fan controllers. I recommend just permanently quieting things down using the aforementioned resistors or, yeah, fan controllers are kind of ridiculous. Like, think about this for a second. Like, okay, here, to test if you would use a fan controller or not, take something like a little action figure or something. Put them on top of your computer case, and then every time you launch a game, reach down and put him on his side. And then every time you close a game, reach down and stand him up. See how long that lasts. See how long you can do it for before you forget or don't care. That is why fan controllers are stupid, because nobody actually does that. The temperature sensors that they use are totally useless because it's not like you can put them next to the CPU die anymore like we used to do back in the Socket A days. So you can't even measure any useful temperatures with them unless you have a software controlled one, something like Corsair Link or something like an N-Cube T-balancer where everything's automated and you've got fan curves and temperatures and all that kind of stuff. Then it's just pointless. Turn down your fans, have a quiet computer every day, all day. All right, bought a system today. Only ordered the case from NCIX. I forgot and ordered everything from Newegg. Going crazy. Cannot decide between a 7970 or 670. There's a $10 difference. You know what? They're both great options. Flip a coin. 7970 is what I would probably recommend for a surround gaming setup, whereas a 670 is way better for 3D. So decide which of those is more important to you. Intake or exhaust at the top of the case? Usually exhaust. Friend with a Mac Pro. And what is the point of 96 gigs of RAM? That is so overkill. You know what? I would have said the same thing about something like 16 or 32 gigs of RAM. So there's a couple things you can do, until recently. There's a couple of things you can do. Number one is you can set up a RAM disk. Okay, so you can install some stuff on there. You can use it as a scratch disk when you're video editing or whatever else. Number two is, I had no idea how he pulled this off, but Diesel managed to just destroy the memory utilization of a system with 16 gigs of memory. Like, he only had like 2 things open, but he had like some color correction DaVinci Resolve thing, and then he had Premiere going, and then like he wanted to do something else, and he checked his memory usage. He's like, oh, I gotta close something before I can open anything else. I was like, okay, dude, I'll get you 32 gigs of RAM for the editing machine. So there you go. For serious professional work, you can use more RAM. Another use is virtual machines. If you want to run VMs, you'll need tons and tons of RAM. I am an OS X user. I'm sorry to hear that. I love watching your videos. I'm happy to hear that. Why do you prefer PC over OS X? I like both platforms, but I prefer OS X. One word. Games? Right now there's nothing for OS X. I mean, I can play some Bebop, you know, Mac games. I can play games on my iPad. But if I actually want to like sit down at my computer and veg and play a shooter, there's nothing. I mean, this sort of leads into something that I find very sad. Like, I don't understand why Microsoft doesn't do more to try to salvage the PC as a gaming platform. Like, I understand Xbox is great and licensing fees are awesome, and like consoles are great because you can sell what is essentially, you know, $100 worth of 4 or 5 generation old stuff for, you know, $300. I understand. That's all cool. That's fantastic. Good for you. But understand that the only thing differentiating your platform from Linux and OS 10, from some kind of Apple OS, is gaming and gamers and tweakability. And the more they get away from that, the more I worry about what the future of something like Windows is. So yeah, right now that's a big part of the reason. Also, I just find it phenomenally difficult to use. Every time I sit down at an OS 10 computer, I manage to break something within about 3 seconds. So I don't know, it's just like, just stupid stuff, like dragging disks to the trash can to eject them. It's like, that was handicapped back when they were doing it 10 years ago. It's still handicapped now, but for whatever reason they haven't changed it, so I don't quite get it. What do you think of using RAM as a hard drive caching? Fancy Cache looks really neat. Haven't tried it yet. Once I get my personal rig up and running, I actually really want to get that going. So I have 64 gigs of RAM that I'm going to put in my motherboard. Then I have my 900 gigs or whatever of RAID 0 SSDs. I'm going to run Fancy Cache, maybe throw 48 gigs of that memory, because I'm just playing games. I'm not going to need anything for video editing or anything like that. Nothing fancy. So I'll throw 48 gigs of RAM cache at the almost 1 terabyte SSD in RAID 0, and I'll see what kind of like crazy performance I can get. I'll see if I notice it more than anything else. Would you ever add a sound card to your water loop? Nope. Tuning in live from Belgium. Yay! How's the litter quitter going? Oh, litter quitter's good. We had another accident today. It had been like 3 days since the last one, and I'm super mad about this. I had the door open into the garage where I had their old litter box while I was preparing for the live stream. This is actually like, I know I'm always late, but seriously guys, there's always a legit reason. So I was chasing the cat out of here because he snuck into the garage and found where I stashed his litter box and dumped it all over the floor. Freaking sweet. So I get to clean that up later. Oh shoot, I just changed the, oops. Uh-oh, I don't know how that affected the stream. There we go. I was trying to just change the game there so you guys could see the spilled litter that makes my life good. So yeah, not impressed. Bad cat. That was Rocket. Super, super annoyed with him. But yeah, other than that, good. I was hoping, based on that we hadn't had any accidents for a few days, that we'd be good to go to move to the next stage. But it looks like that's not going to happen quite yet. Not quite yet. No experience with the non-cherry ones. I'm sort of mainstream that way when it comes to mechanical keyboards. Razer Black Widow, I would probably go for the Ultimate. I don't think the Black Widow actually uses Cherry MX switches, speaking of me only really knowing Cherry MX switches. Okay, more about. Test, my first use of Twitter. Hi, Steven. Do you think new games will start using less CPU and more GPU power? We've already seen that. Personally, I'd like to see games use more CPU power. I mean, almost everyone has a dual core at this point. I think a lot of particularly gamers and enthusiasts are moving to quad cores. Why don't we have a seriously physics-based game where there's an entire CPU dedicated to just making everything a simulation as opposed to pre-rendered or whatever else? I mean, yeah, it's consoles holding us back, but yeah, that's what I'm more excited about than anything else. That and virtual reality. We talked about it either last week or the week before, but there's a VR headset coming that looks really, really cool. So, I mean, I think gaming's in a bit of a funk right now for the last few years. But I'm, yeah, really excited about some of the things that are coming. 3D, not so much, but VR and more physics, super excited about. I have a 670 for the win. I have enough money to get a second 670 or a TJ07B. What should I get? You know what? I can't make that decision for you. If you feel like it's worthwhile investing in an expensive case, then that is the call that you have to make. Personally, why did I buy a TJ07? I bought a TJ07, well, my wife, now wife, then girlfriend, bought it for me because I really wanted one, and it was very, very generous of her. Why did I get a TJ07? Because I knew that 5 years down the line, I would still be using that chassis. I wouldn't want anything different. I knew that already. I still think it's the best chassis on the market once you do the appropriate mods to make it a little bit more functional. So if you're willing to commit to a case that way, then go for it. Otherwise, I find it very hard to justify spending so much on a case when there are great options like something like a Define R4 window that don't cost nearly as much. I mean, you could buy a Define R4 window, save pennies from a cup, one more paycheck, and buy yourself both, as opposed to buying something like a TJ07. So it is definitely a niche part, and it's totally up to you whether something you want to do that. Chase asks if I've decided to stream the assembly of my rig. I might not, because it's probably going to take me something like 8 to 10 hours straight, because I'll be making some custom wires and cables. I'll be splicing some stuff, sleeving some stuff at the last minute as I go. So I haven't really decided if it makes sense, but if you guys like the idea, then let me know, and I'll think about it. I live in Quebec, and there's no places to try keyboards. Any tips? Because I'm looking for a switch to type and game. Get browns. Browns or blacks are good bets. Personally, I like blues for gaming. I got no problem with that. They're all good. Mechanical is just better than membrane in every possible way. I would like to use static link aggregation. Could you tell me more about it and how to set it up with your router? It's not a router feature. It's actually a switch feature. So if you don't have a managed switch of some sort that supports LECP, then you aren't doing that. Also, it probably won't really matter, because here's something to understand about link aggregation that I didn't when I first got started with the quad gigabit NIC cards. I thought I was going to get 4 gigabit per second point to point. That's not how it works. It's actually not adding more top speed, but adding more lanes to the highway, if you get what I mean. So it's more like 4 1 gigabit streams versus a single 4 gigabit stream. So that means you can have 4 computers pulling 1 gigabit off that computer all at the same time, or if one of the connections goes down, you'll have 3 gigabit total, and it'll be a fail-safe and everything will still work, but you can't just have one computer pulling off another one at 4 gigabit per second. So it doesn't really matter for consumer use. That's why I ended up looking into whatever it's called. Right, 10 gigabit as opposed to something like 4 gigabit. So let's see. Here we go. Ryan says, Linus, the vid you just put up says December 14th. Oops. Oy, hopefully that doesn't keep too many people from joining. You know what? Let's take some newer questions. And I think I had a couple of live stream topics tonight, but again, like I said, I can't... Oh my goodness. I can't leave Slick to entertain you guys in the meantime. What's your opinion on the Korean rebranded Apple 27-inch cinema displays? I'm not aware of rebranded Apple 27-inch cinema displays. I'm aware of A- panel LG IPS monitors that are 2560 by 1440. They're cheap, which is good. They're cheap, which is good. They're high res, which is good. They're IPS, which is good. These are all good things. The things I'd worry about are things like warranty support, things where you're not going to get a return for it, like backlight bleeding around the edges. These are A- panels, so the odds of getting a dead pixel, however many accounts you find on the internet of people saying they didn't get one, the odds are better than if you bought an A+ panel or an A panel, which is what you'll generally find in a retail product. So what's my opinion? They're cheap. If I was going to buy, I sure wish they'd make one without a glossy bezel. I was even looking into them. I was like, well, I could use a surround 27-inch gaming setup. And then I was just like, oh, they all have glossy bezels. I really want to do a project over the next little bit where I actually take the bezels off of 3 monitors, mount them on one of those XFX Infinity stands, and have like a bezel-less multi-monitor setup. But that's the kind of thing that it'll be a little while before I can get that going. I still have to actually manage to finish building my computer. So, yeah. Everything was working except his motherboard. Now the new motherboard is causing it to not post. Okay, well then you might have a problem with your motherboard, Chris. Blues are the loudest. Liam, is the 3970X worth buying for a YouTube commentator? Like video rendering every day, maybe 3D, and best silent case. Define R4 window gets my vote for like just being a friggin' awesome case in general. Very, very quiet. 3970X, of course it's not worth it. I mean, do you even need me to tell you that? Just look at the specs. It's like best case scenario, like 10% faster than a 3930K. And it costs like, what, 2x? So, I don't know, worth it? I don't know. I mean, if it's your job and you make money doing it and you want to spend $1,000, you want to have an extreme edition, you want to have like a, you know, like a prestige piece, go for it. Buy an extreme edition. But if you're looking for bang for the buck, buy a 3930K, overclock it. There you go. You've got extreme edition performance, pretty much within sort of margin of error because it has about 3 megs less cache. They can overclock to pretty much the same speed though. They're otherwise the same chip. They are the same actual die. It's just a binning process. And then if you run an even better value, get a 3770K, which unless you're leveraging those other 2 cores, will actually perform better than a 3930K or a 3970X. When is NZXT opening in Montreal? Probably not anytime soon would be my guess. There's a lot of laws around sort of having a physical presence in Montreal where the laws don't apply to you if you're not there, but they do apply to you if you are there, and you have to have like French on all your packaging and blah, blah, blah. Like, I just super doubt it. NZXT already ships to Montreal. There's free shipping promotions all the time, so yeah, I don't really see a compelling reason to have a store there. Need a recommendation for a 750 watt power supply, modular and easy to sleeve. Saw the EVGA at a very attractive price. What are you saying? You know what? You know who does really easy to sleeve power supplies? Is Silverstone, because they always do a 1-to-1 connector. Their modular cables are 1 cable to 1 cable, so you can easily re-sleeve them in a different color if you want. That's something that, while the sleeving on the Strider 1000 Plus, for example, is not the best I've ever seen, as a lot of the commenters noted on the unboxing, it's not a bad power supply by any stretch. It's efficient, it's small, so it's compact. It's going to fit in the SG09 build that we're planning. And it is very easy to sleeve if you want to do individual sleeving. So there you go. That would be a good recommendation. Silverstone Strider Plus. And not that expensive either. Fancy Cash works great apparently. Awesome. Single sleeve power supply tutorial. Didn't manage to find one. I have that mixed in with some of my personal rig updates, but honestly, I'm not the best at it. I think there's some good guides on hard OCP, particularly. How does this system sound? Good. With SSD, get an, I don't know, get an M4, get a Neutron GTX. Actually, we have a new SSD update coming on the NZXT Tech Tips channel soon, where basically we discover that the Vector, the Neutron GTX, the M5P from Plextor, and presumably the 840 Pro are all kind of within spitting distance of each other. So buy whatever you want that makes you happy and looks cool, and enjoy it. Watching the live stream, setting up my Prodigy build. Ooh, very nice. 3570K, 16 gigs, 680 signature, water cooled. Very cool. The Black Widow Ultimate does use Cherry MX Blue switches. I know, but there's a Black Widow not Ultimate. That's what I was talking about. I don't believe that one uses blue switches. Stream the build. All right. Sounds good. Just have some music. All right. The first time seeing you live. I really like your YouTube tech tips. Thank you. Thank you for watching. It helps a lot. Where can I test the different types of Cherry MX keys? Really? Ooh. Friends who have them? That's about all you can really do. I mean, you can watch something like I did a mechanical keyboard shopping guide on the NZXT Tech Tips channel. You can watch that. I try to give you guys a pretty good idea of the different feels, but it's the kind of thing where unless you've tried it yourself, it's very hard to do sort of online. Yeah. You know what? I think this is a better topic for when Slick is here to sort of discuss it with me, so I'm going to leave that one for now. 75 degrees, yeah, that's fine. Stream everything, okay, got it. What are your thoughts on water cooling kits? I think something like an H100 or H100i makes a lot of sense because it has a dual radiator. I've never been a big fan of single rad water cooling kits for one reason. They're expensive. Well, they're not super expensive. I mean, this is about $100, which is expensive, but it's not like, you know, going to make you or break you. But beyond clearing up space around the CPU socket and looking really good, they don't offer anything compelling over a high-end air cooler, which will actually perform better than a pre-done water cooler. So something like an H100 or H100i, that's ruler of the roost. That's about as good as it gets in terms of performance because you have all that surface area. You got 2 fans. They are both cooling it and doing awesome work, and everything is good. Better even than a Silver Arrow Extreme. Silver Arrow Extreme destroyed the H80i in my testing. So that's all I really need to know about it. Why am I spending so much on this if it actually doesn't perform as well as a high-end air cooling solution? Not to mention that high-end air cooling solutions can be more flexible in some ways. My wife's machine, if you check out my personal project, Wife Computer or something like that, has a Silver Arrow non-extreme in it that I'm actually using to passively cool the CPU. So she's got a 980X in there. So that's an Extreme Edition 6-core, last generation, Gulf Town. She's got a 5870 that has an aftermarket cooler on it, also a thermal right cooler with a 120mm fan. So there's only 3 fans in this machine. There's one in the back of the case blowing inward towards that tower heatsink, which is enough to keep it cool under load, no overclocking, mind you. There's the 5870 fan, which is spinning at like 600 RPM or something like that, so it's very, very quiet and keeps that card cool even under full firm arc load. I had it turned around the wrong way for a bit. That wasn't very smart. If I'd had the fan speed cranked up, it might have been okay, but I had to turn that back around. And then there's the power supply fan. Super silent machine. Couldn't do it with something like an H80 because you'd have a pump and you would need another fan on the back. So you haven't managed to actually eliminate any noise sources, whereas with a tower heatsink in a passive mode, you've managed to eliminate at least one fan from the system. So there, that's my take on that. Love to watch the live stream? Okay. How much do you think is a normal price for a high-end case? I don't know, man. It's called Google. Google high-end here. You know what? Why don't we do this? Just for lulz. Oh, I screwed up. There we go. Doop, doop, doo. High-end case. Lunatic. High-end iPhone case. Oh, we better be more specific. Computer. Aha, high-end computer case. Best high-end gaming case. Solved on Tom's Hardware. I am looking for a high-end gaming case. Blah, 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 blah. Something, 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 something. First one looks decent. Okay, something, something. Someone linked to Newegg. A high-end case. Haha, look at that, it's a TJ07. Haha. Oh, what happened to it? It went away. Boo, boo, TJ07BW. Discontinued? Whatever, it's like 350 bucks. So there, that answers your question. TJ07 is a high-end, actually, I didn't stage that, you guys, just so you know. TJ07 is a high-end case and it's about 350 bucks. Stream the build, stream the build, stream the build, stream the build. Got it. Okay, I got it. What do you recommend as a replacement for Eyefinity? Eyefinity. Eyefinity is just AMD's branding for running triple monitors and surround. So there's NVIDIA Surround, which is not quite as easy to set up as Eyefinity, and then there's Eyefinity. So that's it. Is the 39... Oh, yeah, okay. I already saw that one. Best CPU temperature monitoring software. I use RealTemp. I really like it. What's a quick recommendation you could give us for a good budgeted video editing rig? 3770K, 16 to 32 gigs of RAM, MATX board, keep it nice and small, SSD for boot, another different drive for scratch. Yeah. Okay, I want to get an SSD, but don't want to spend over $100. What's the best? Buy a 120 gig SSD that's under 100 bucks. Get whatever you want, because you're not getting a premium SSD at that price, so buy whatever you can get. Just make sure you get something decent, like an M4. Currently I have a 6870 and I'm planning to upgrade. Should I get another one to buy? No, buy a better single card. A lot of people sort of... Okay, here, think about it this way. When you get a new car, do you buy another car to run next to it so you can carry more people? Or do you just sell your old car and buy a new car? I think most people sell their old car. But a lot of people seem to have trouble with this whole, my video card is outdated, so, you know, I'm going to replace it, and then they just kind of like, they throw it away or something. Like, I don't understand. It has a trade-in value. Sell your old graphics card. Find a buddy to buy it, put it on eBay, it doesn't matter. You can get money back for your graphics card. 6870 is still worth a couple bucks. So you sell that, you take that money, you buy something better. So it's not just as simple as, well, a 6870 will only cost me $100 and a 7950 will cost me $250. So I'm spending $100 or $250. No, you sell your 6870 for $100, then you pay an extra $150, you get something new that's better and faster and current generation and will have longer driver support and all these other advantages. So I almost never recommend twinning an older graphics card. Sell what you have, get something new. MDisk is an open source RAM disk software. Okay. I have a Model M. Very nice. I haven't tried the Unicomp, although I had a Model M that someone gave me and then they took back. So I was super sad about that. Best headset would be the 7H. That's my personal favorite. Is it the best? Hard to say. I don't know. Plantronics has a new like Game Commander something or other that's like $300. It looks pretty uber. Haven't tried it yet. But 7H is a great value for around $100. And yes, Oculus VR. That's the virtual reality thing I was talking about. Since we're on the topic of games, what are some of your most played? Played a lot of Left 4 Dead. Played Far Cry all the way through a couple times. Played Crysis all the way through. Final Fantasy VI I've played through sort of a half a dozen, 10 times. 6 is the best. It truly is. 7 is not better than 6. I don't know. What else? Played a lot of TIE Fighter when I was a kid. Opinions on passive silent CPU coolers. I think I talked about this a fair bit right after he asked that question. So I'm going to leave that one for now. What PC case would you buy to get the best included cooling per dollar? Well, I'd probably get something from like a half series, like a half 912, something like that. How much do you think is a normal price for a case? Oh man. Is the 3970, that's a repeat. Okay, let's go back up to the top. No, I don't think so. As much as Gabe Newell wants it to. Okay. 168 new interactions. Awesome. You know what? If you guys give me just one moment, I'm going to see if I can find any of the topics that I wanted to do tonight. So, live stream topic. No, that's a stupid topic. Oh, shoot. Right, I forgot about this. I have a giveaway for tonight. It is only for live stream watchers, viewers, and I don't remember how I was planning to do it. Let me just find the email where we talked about it. I cannot find it. Oh, please tell me it's there. I am giving away a copy of Windows 8. I don't actually know what version of Windows 8. I don't really know anything. Why don't we do a Microsoft trivia thing, and the first one, the first one to tweet the correct answer is the winner of a copy of Windows 8. So I'm going to go with one of my personal favorite little bits of Microsoft trivia because it has to do with my hometown. And I'm going to ask, I'm not going to give you guys many hints, okay? So you're going to win Windows 8. Oh, right. And you got to go to, here, hold on. I'm going to find, there's a YouTube channel. There's a collaborative effort going on to bring you guys this giveaway. So, look at Slick. There he is. So Timmy Tech TV, I think. Yeah, I want to leave this page. Hold on. Timmy Tech TV. So this giveaway is sponsored by Timmy Tech TV. So we're getting... Oh, wait. Okay, there you go. Look at that. He has a video about it. Let's watch the video. Intro. Moving right along. Timmy Tech TV and Linus Tech Tips. All right. I don't know what he says, but it's probably pretty good. So basically, I have decided that the first person... Guys, be ready. Be ready on Twitter. If you're not following on Twitter, then that's really just too bad for you. I'm sorry you don't like Twitter, or Twitter, burned your dog or something, but that's how you're going to win. What was the code name for Windows Vista based on? Oh, and guys, to win, you got to be subscribed to me. You got to be subscribed to Timmy Tech TV. So guys, do check out his videos. Yeah, no. Yeah, I know what the code name was. Why was that the code name? What was it actually based on? Okay, so let's go back to Twitter. You win a copy of Windows 8. Okay, yeah, no one got it before that. And yes, that is a Think Geek sticker in the back. I don't remember where it is, but it's somewhere back there. Yeah, it's on my external DVD drive. This question is pretty close to my heart. Yeah. No, none of this is right. No, none of this is right. Oh, hold on. Okay, let's see if. Oh no, Sasha's not first. Hold on. Oh, jeez, this isn't very accurate. Can't hear your videos. So yeah, Longhorn. Yeah, it was Longhorn, but that's not why. Oh, Suki, I don't know if I can let you have that one because it is not. Yes, it's not specific enough. Not specific enough. Yes, the Longhorn Saloon is in Whistler, BC, which is very near to where I live. But the first person to say the Longhorn Bar. Oh crap! I don't know if we got a correct answer. I might have to come up with something else. I'm gonna have to see. Okay, so hold on. Time is now 10:13. So anyone who comes up with it. Yeah, no, it's not the Longhorn Bar. It is the Longhorn Saloon, folks. Let's see if anyone came up with that before we ran out of, before I gave away the answer here. Shoot. Yeah, no. Yeah, sorry guys. I cannot let that happen. Longhorn Barn is not, or barn. Longhorn Bar is not good enough. It is the Longhorn Saloon. Needed a specific answer. Okay, so let's come up with something else. Let's make this one easier, just for lols. Actually, let's make this one big. The first person to answer this viewer's question, so this was from a previous, or this Twitter respondent's question, is going to win a copy of Windows 8. So I had someone say, Linus, I recently upgraded my memory in my system. I put in a whole new kit of memory. I've got 32 gigs of RAM. It's showing up in the BIOS. But unfortunately, in my OS, I only see 16 gigs. I can only use 16 gigs. What's the problem? The first person to tweet me the correct answer to that problem wins a copy of Windows 8. Assuming that they are subscribed to me and Timmy Tech TV. Holy crap, 20 new interactions. Go down. I need a specific answer here, guys. Specific answer. Yeah, blah. Yep. Nope, 32-bit is not the problem. 32-bit would not show 16 gigs of memory. You'd be limited to 3 or 4. Not correct. Not correct. Upgrade Windows is not specific enough for me, Devin. What version of Windows is he running? Home Edition, not going to accept that either. Hi, Windows Premium. Nope, sorry. I'm looking for the specifically correct answer. Twitter laziness will not work. See, again, this is correct, but oh man, you guys are killing me here. Why hasn't anyone tweeted me? See there, finally. The RAM, okay, you know what? Actually, I think that one came in before I said anything. Hold on. Going down. Okay. 32-bit versus 64-bit is not right. So let's go all the way up. I'm looking for the first person to say that he's running Windows Home Premium. Windows Home Premium. Motherboard, Windows version does not... Okay, Ryan, I think you're the first one. Windows 7 Home Premium is the I don't like the way you guys are answering these, though. I kind of hate it, where it's just not complete sentence answers, and it's like sort of random and crappy. Okay, tell you what, I'll let Twitter decide. Ryan's the first one that actually managed to say what OS he was running and what was the problem, but he didn't say what the solution was, whereas I saw one further up here. Okay, hold on. Where is it? Only blah, 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 blah. No, I thought I saw one that said upgrade from Windows 7 Home Premium to Windows 7 Pro. Okay, fine. Let's go between Kian, who says upgrade your Windows. Oh, hold on. Windows Premium, not Pro. Okay, let's find the first person who didn't really sort of say it right. And then we'll go for Ryan being the person who actually called it the correct thing. So here we go. First person who had the correct idea but didn't really say it right. Okay, so I want you guys to tell me, should it be Devin or Ryan? Because Devin said upgrade Windows, but see, no, you know what? No, I can't accept that because he could have meant 32 versus 64-bit. Let's go with Jason or Ryan. Windows Home Edition is the problem, but Ryan actually calls it the right thing because Home Edition is not a Windows 7 product. That is a Windows XP product, Windows XP Home Edition. And if it was Windows XP Home Edition, it would not be 64-bit, and it would not have 16 gigs of RAM being recognized in it. That's why I don't like these inexact answers, because I don't know if you guys actually know what the problem is. So I'll let Twitter decide, and we will go from there. Holy crap, Twitter's exploding. You guys say, okay, Twitter has decided. Ryan is the winner. So Ryan, please send me an email at linustechtips@gmail.com, and we will go with it. So for next week, I want you guys to be as precise as possible in your answers. I am going to be doing Windows 8 giveaways sponsored by Timmy Tech TV. So guys, don't forget that YouTube channel where you want to go here. There you go. youtube.com/Timmy Tech. Oh, you can't see it. /Timmy Tech TV. That is the actual sponsor of these Windows 8 giveaways. So make sure you're subscribed to him. Make sure you're following him for any future updates. And Ryan, send me an email. I will arrange to get you a Windows 8 CD key. You'll have to figure out where to get media on your own, but that's not the part that costs money. And thank you everyone for playing, and thanks for watching the live stream. Yay! So I'm glad I didn't forget about that. And I'll come up with instead of trying to think of questions on the spot next week, I will come up with questions ahead of time. I'd totally forgotten about it. Linus, I know you have a motorbike. I have an SV650S. Okay, blah blah blah, blah 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 blah. Yeah, Dan, you were after the other guy. Okay, better luck next week, Dan. I'm sorry. Okay. Guys, remember, this is just for fun. Just for fun, everyone. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea, Jeff. Ryan, tweet at me so that I know that it's the right person. Timmy Tech TV is not stealing Windows 8 copies. Jeez. Whatever happened to the Cougar power supply? I still use it on one of my test benches. 4 gig 670 or 2 gig 680? 4 gig 670 for high res, so above 1080p. 2 gig 680 for 1080p. Cooler Master Iceberg, hopefully coming soon, you guys. I work out of the head office in Richmond. Not the Aberdeen store. Head office. Different thing. If my primary monitor is 120 Hz, can I duplicate my screen at lower hertz? Yes, you can. No problems at all. Thinking about getting a G75 or a GT70, which is better. Honestly, for me, gaming notebooks come down to spec, especially when you compare two solid brands like Asus and MSI. They're both good notebooks. Buy whichever one is slightly faster or is on promo or whatever else. What do I think of a Rosewill 550 watt power supply? Who cares? No offense if Paul's watching. Is there going to be another tech fair in 2013? Potentially. I don't know of any plans for a specific date or anything like that, but Fiat says, I never see my tweets on your live stream. I'm sure glad that you wasted your tweet telling me that. I'm sure you're glad too. All right, let's go ahead and scroll back up here and see if we got any more tweets. Thanks for bearing with me on the whole just Q&A style video tonight, you guys. I know it might not have been as interesting as having Slick hosting with me, but like I said, he is super sick. So here we go. Live stream topics. Yes, this was a good question. I had someone tweet me, asking, why is it that my graphics card has GDDR5 and my computer system does not use GDDR5. So a couple different things. Number one is graphics memory has a completely different set of requirements from desktop PC memory. So this one is just sort of my general understanding, but my understanding is that PC desktop memory has to have a higher degree of accuracy, a higher degree of precision than something like graphics memory. If a mistake is made on a graphics card and there's some kind of a bit flipped or whatever else goes wrong, it is maybe you have a pixel that's discolored, whereas if it happens with your system memory and something critical in the OS was happening there, the whole thing goes down. So there's that. Number two is graphics memory has always been kind of ahead of desktop memory because you don't have to deal with a socketed slot. So because you can solder it right to the board, it interfaces much more directly. The traces are cleaner. You have fewer points of failure, so that's all good. It can run at much higher clock speeds, and it is optimized for bandwidth. Bandwidth, bandwidth, bandwidth. Remember guys, bandwidth and latency are not the same thing. Turning clock speeds up can improve both of them, but if you need to push through like shed loads of data, then you build yourself a completely custom memory interface. That's another thing, is the memory interfaces required for these kinds of more advanced memory are not available on the desktop yet. You build yourself a super wide memory interface, you solder chips directly to your board, and then you clock them to high hell and back, and you will get a ton of bandwidth. They've also optimized GDDR, which is different from DDR. They've optimized GDDR memory for not necessarily great latencies, but for fantastic throughput. So that means that if you have to draw a complex scene or you have to store a bunch of textures in it and get them out really, really fast to draw scenes on the screen, it's great for that. However, if it was something where, you know, you get, okay, sorry, my brain's kind of tired. It's been a long week. Something where you need to reach just one bit of data very, very fast, lower latency is better. And as we move towards sort of higher and higher frequencies and more bandwidth, latencies are actually getting worse as opposed to getting better. DDR3 has more latency than DDR2, but it's compensated for by the better integrated memory controllers and all that stuff. So we just need to wait for the desktop to catch up. We also don't really need the bandwidth on the desktop. I can't think of many scenarios where the desktop actually even benefits from going from dual channel to quad channel. I mean, look it up, guys. There's not a lot of benefit, and we're literally doubling the bandwidth, which is all you're going to do by adding GDDR5 to a desktop machine. So I hope that sort of answers the question. I don't think I got that across as clearly as I was hoping, but there you go. Okay. Oh yeah, and anyone who's emailing me saying that they won when actually they didn't won and I'm not gonna be verifying them, like seriously, grow up. Live stream topic. Oh, here's a cool one. Oh yeah. So Samsung just acquired Envelo or NVELO. So those are the guys who do the Dataplex caching software that's in use in products like the Corsair, oh shoot, what is it? Whatever, the OCZ Synapse, so caching solution, the Crucial Adrenaline, and the, oh see, now I wanna remember, Corsair, crap, can't remember what it's called, but they're caching SSD. So those guys do, basically, there's nothing special about a Synapse SSD. It's just an SSD. There's nothing special about an Adrenaline. It's just an M4. That's all it is. It's got a special firmware. It comes with a key for the Dataplex software. So the Dataplex software is dynamically loading your most frequently used data into an SSD off of a hard drive so that you can get basically SSD speeds off of the data that you access the most. And then you can fall back on the hard drive for mass storage when things sort of overflow from the SSD. It doesn't have the same kinds of limitations as something like Intel's SRT, Smart Response Technology, because it doesn't limit you to only a 64 gig SSD or less, which is really cool. But, oh yeah, and it doesn't lock you down to a Z68 or Z77 platform, which is also cool. But now that Samsung owns it, I think it's going to be a very interesting time for the overall SSD caching market. It's not something that's really taken off. I mean, it's the kind of thing where consumers, they don't trust it, but then you put a laptop that has even like a 16 gig or 32 gig SSD cache in it in a consumer's hands, and you tell them it has a hard drive, they kind of go, oh yeah, this is like way faster, this is way better. So yeah, I'm not sure how that affects guys like an OCZ who are licensing the software, but I can tell you right now it's very exciting for someone like Samsung. I mean, remember Samsung spun off their hard drive business to, I believe it was Seagate, although I really hope I'm not wrong about that. So Samsung designs and fabs NAND flash and controllers. They're an SSD builder. They're affiliated with a hard drive builder that's already been pushing the boundaries on integrated, SSD caching solutions on consumer hard drives with the Momentous XT line. And all of a sudden they've got this new software sort of, and these new staff, they're keeping all the staff, so they're keeping the company intact. They've got this fresh blood coming in that might be able to help everyone have better ways to integrate all these things together. So I personally believe SSD caching is going to be huge for the future, and I'm really, really excited to see what comes out of it, but I don't know what it means in terms of the competitive landscape. So I would worry a little bit about that. So that's something I had someone ask me about. Trying to decide between iPad and Surface. What do I think about RT? Should I wait for the Pro? Pro's going to run hotter. It's going to have less battery life by about half, which kind of kills the whole tablet experience for me. If I was buying a tablet tomorrow, depends. If it's an entertainment device, if I'm just going to play games on it and I'm going to watch movies, I'd probably get an iPad. If I'm actually going to try and do any work on it, Surface, hands down. Surface RT, done. For the giveaway, you should think about random tech questions because everyone is going to study Windows questions. That's fine. Go study Windows questions. You'll have a better chance to win. It's good. What do you think if the Kraken is a closed-loop cooler compared to the H100i? I will be testing it soon, and I will let you guys know. I'm also planning to put myself together like a pretty inexpensive custom water cooling loop and throw that in there just to see how much further ahead it is versus something like an H100i. I'm not expecting it to be that different because we're mostly radiator limited when you only have a dual 120mm rad. Do I ever try a what? Kiwi with feta cheese? No. I think you mean kiwi? A6 5400K or A10 5800K for general gaming performance? Both of those are pretty meh. If you want to actually game, then get like an FX 4100 and a video card. If you want to run onboard, then I'd get the A10 probably. Happy New Year's? Not yet. Not yet. But it will be New Year's before I have another live stream, so there you go. You know what? I think that's pretty much all I can do for tonight, guys. I had forgotten how hard this is to do without a co-host. So thank you all for tuning in. And don't forget, we do live streams on Friday nights, my time at 9. And don't forget to subscribe to Linus Tech Tips for all your favorite unboxings, reviews, and other computer videos, and cats, and Twinkies, and... Oh, wait, I forgot. No, there's one more thing I have to do tonight. So you guys can stick around for it or not. But the AR.Drone video that I posted over a year ago with the AR.Drone 1 has officially got more than 1 million views on YouTube, which means that the AR.Drone itself has earned a place on the Wall of Legends. And I hate putting these hooks up in front of you all because last time I had some problems and then y'all made fun of me. But I'm going to do it anyway without a spotter this time, so things are going to get pretty real before this is over. Pretty real, pretty dangerous. So let's go ahead and find a nice place to put the AR.Drone V1. So that's my second video, the only one on the Linus Tech Tips channel that's gotten over 1 million views on the YouTubes. So that's very, very exciting for us YouTubers. We're into the whole views thing. That makes us pretty happy. So let's go ahead and hang it kind of here, which means I'm going to need to put a thing in sort of here. Okay. I'm not doing any more Q&A for the rest of the night, so if you guys find this boring, then feel free to tune out. Okay. Yes, I know these hooks are a bad solution. Yes, I know they're destroying my pegboard, but I'm committed to it now. So here we go. You can never say that I'm not committed to ideas, even if they're bad, once I commit to them. I would never have that said about me. They're really hard to put in because it just starts picking up the pegboard. rather than just sort of going into the wall nicely. So there you go, hook 1 for the AR.Drone. And then hook 2 will go probably right about here. Right about here. Or maybe here. Yeah, let's go. No, let's go there. Okay. It's gonna go right there. Where's my other hook? Thank you guys. Without you, I obviously can't get 1,000,000 views on anything, so I appreciate that. You gotta be kidding me. Did I hit a stud again? Ah. I realized that's why I was having so much trouble with that other one last time. Oh no, I don't think I did. I think it's okay. I had someone at work bugging me about these hooks the next day after I did my first hook hanging thing where I put up this video card. You know what? Whatever, you guys. Alright, there we go. Parrot AR.Drone. You haven't even been able to see any of this the whole time. I just realized that. Parrot AR.Drone has been added to the legendary wall. With the video card that also has 1,000,000 views, the AR.Drone with 1,000,000 views, and the axe, which, wow, I mean, zombies, right? You never know when you're going to need an axe. Especially in Canada. I might have to, like, chop down some trees and stuff. Good night, everyone.